Hello and welcome to episode 5 of this game devlog. As I'm saying this, the end of the week is already quite close and I haven't been able to spend any time on the game. Today, however, is pretty much entirely dedicated to development. My goal is to work on the building walls. As I was preparing the walls, I noticed that the player does not properly collide with the buildings. It might not be very obvious in this footage, because there are no walls, but I would also be able to walk through a complete building. This is because the navigation grid is only calculated once in the beginning. I have now added some updating logic, but it took a long time to do that, especially because the code needs to run quite fast. Now I can finally start creating the building walls. Similar to the floor, I will start with a simple wooden construction, but design the code in a way that I can easily add different building methods later on. I started by adding posts in all the corners. Actually, every wall has a post at each end, so there are 2 posts overlapping at each corner. In the future, I need to ensure that whichever wall gets built first also has the necessary wall posts, but at the moment, I don't have to worry about that because the walls are not yet constructed by the workers. Next, I want to add some more support posts between these. These additional posts are now added. The number of posts is chosen so that the distance between posts is as close as possible to 1.5 meters. But because the wall length is not always a multiple of 1.5 meters, the spacing will vary slightly. That surely will cause some complications at the next step, adding planks to both sides of the wall. I forgot to rotate the planks, so I ended up generating this. It's easy to fix, but I kind of like how it looks, so I thought I'd share it with you. I also encountered this issue shortly thereafter, because I rotated the boards around the wrong point. I think I could turn all of these into some cool modern buildings, but for now I have to fix this and create a boring wall instead. It turns out that rotating the boards is actually more complex than I could have imagined. I wrote the board generator so that it is very fast when generating the boards, but that made it surprisingly hard to rotate them around the long axis without ruining the performance. I could, of course, work around the system and do a few matrix transforms to the whole plank, but these would be very inefficient, so I like to instead change things right at the generation step. After far more time than I'm willing to admit, I finally managed to get it working. That doesn't mean the walls are done now. The boards are attached the wrong way, the gaps look bad, and the random pattern becomes very obvious when looking at them like this. But that's something I'm going to fix tomorrow. Instead of one plank that connects the centers of the posts, the walls now have planks attached on both sides. There are still some problems in the corners, but I don't want to spend too much time fixing these small issues, so I'm going to leave this for now. I spent some time reworking the way the planks are randomized, and I think it looks a lot more realistic now. The generator is still quite simple, but the planks look less artificial now. I think that for now I'm going to call these walls done. Next I need to add doors to them. The first step in adding doors is to adjust the positioning so that there are gaps at the door's positions. I've temporarily increased the post density and added 1 door to each wall to make this more clear. I now re-added the planking, which should make the door gaps more obvious. I also added some small amount of horizontal spacing between the boards so that you can distinguish individual boards. Lastly, I added some planks above the doors, because the walls are taller than the door itself. The system is quite flexible and can easily be used to make holes for windows too, but for the moment I don't want to focus on that. The last remaining step is to have the workers actually build the wall. While I won't tackle that problem this week, I will do one important preparation step by defining the order in which the walls are built. You can see an animation playing in the background showing all the walls being built. The order is kind of strange and doesn't really make sense unless you know how the code behind works. I plan to change the order slightly so that all the posts are added first and the planks thereafter, but I'll do that tomorrow. So that's it for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing some real progress as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.